listens to the views of students and represents them on matters affecting all well-being at the university, locally and nationally. They champion student well-being by identifying and addressing challenges relating to mental health, housing and the overall cost of living. They also act as the full-time office of contact for college wellbeing representatives.
Hello, I'm Ned Connors and I'm currently joined by Abby Harrison, who is running for the position of Community and Inclusion Officer. And of course, previously you had the position of the Equality and Inclusions Officer. So firstly, you've expressed interest in creating more support for the cost of living. Can you expand on what that would look like?
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of research into what the other Russell Group universities are doing, and a lot of them have a tiered bursary system. So at the moment, York offers £1,000 to students who have a household income of up to £35,000, but there's nothing for anyone whose household income is slightly more than that, which means that the students who are in the middle quite often get very limited support and are struggling quite a lot. But it also means that you can't get any more than £1,000 regardless of where your income sits within that £35,000 bracket. So I'm proposing a tiered bursary system so that more students will be able to access support, but it also means that the students who need support most will be able to get more financial support.
So you've also mentioned in your manifesto, in your last year, you've been involved in a lot of staff-student events. Do you have any plans to continue those or expand them in any way?
Yes, so that's something that I feel really passionately about, and is something that in my year as a SAB, I very much realised that we're one university, but quite often we treat marginalised groups like their student networks and staff networks, and there's no bringing of those communities together. So recently, myself and Aya, who's the current academic officer, hosted an event for International Women's Day where students and staff came together, students gave speeches, and it was a really good networking opportunity for students, and everyone who came really enjoyed it. And I've also been working on organising a conference called Beyond Visibility, which is going to be a huge conference to raise awareness and celebrate trans lives in York. And there's going to be loads of charities coming in to talk about what they do. So I'd love to keep doing more of stuff like that, because I think it just gives students a real opportunity to throw themselves into everything York has to offer.
And kind of linking on from that, you've spoken a little bit about community there, and you mentioned community more in your manifesto. How does this fit into a landscape where obviously many of the college staff have been made redundant? So what are you going to do to kind of tackle that where the university is having issues?
Yeah, so I think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of really delving into what is going on with the college structure, what support is still there, and what the university's plans are to rectify the lack of support that a lot of students feel they have nowadays. And I think it's also really important to look at community outside of the college, because the college system is absolutely brilliant. But once you leave your college, once you go into second year and you're living in external accommodation, a lot of students don't typically engage that much with their college. So I think we need a real drive on community events that are not necessarily linked to the college system, but can run in tandem with it to just bring everybody together.
Brilliant. And the kind of last major point in your manifesto I want to touch on is well-being. You've spoken a little bit about that. What are your goals for student wellbeing? What do you see like your plan looking like?
So I don't know if you'll be aware, but there's something called the support to study system, which means that students who are in the most extreme need for support, whether that be through mental health or physical disability, can get a support team of people from their department, from their college, from Open Door. Anyone who is involved in their care comes together to support that student, but that's not something that's offered very often at all, and it's not something that students can self-refer to. So I'm proposing that we introduce something at a lower level where students can get their departmental supervisor, a member of wellbeing staff, whether that's college wellbeing staff or departmental wellbeing staff, and a member of disability services to come together at the very beginning of when a student is having a problem. And I think that should be integrated into that sort of 6-week check-in point, because the university already knows when students are struggling by the time they're 6 weeks in, but we don't offer them any wellbeing support until they're way past that and at a breaking point. And I really don't think that's good enough. I think that we need to be doing more proactive intervention, that students can take ownership of themselves so that less students are reaching that crisis point. And I think it's just important to really encourage that autonomy and give students a chance to refer themselves for support.
Brilliant. And finally, in about 10 seconds, why should people vote for you?
Because I have a track record of getting things done, and I really deeply care about this job. I care about every student at this university, and I want to keep making it better. And I think that with my manifesto, I clearly can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The Community and Inclusion Officer listens to the views of students